The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra has some amazing cameras with the best features available today on any smartphone. But what good are they if you don't know how to use them? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about the features, settings, and modes. And you're going to know exactly how to use those cameras after this, right? So, what are you waiting for? Let's get ready on this epic tutorial right here. Let's go. Okay, so first up, are you still unlocking your phone then entering your passcode just to open your camera app? Well, no. There's an easier way to do that. Simply double tap your power button and it will immediately launch your camera app. And as you can see, it will always open in photo mode even if your phone is locked. How cool is that? But did you know that you can open your camera app in any mode? Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? And that's because you don't know the power of the dark side. So go ahead, touch on the little cogwheel for settings and scroll all the way down until you see developers options. From there, once you touch on that, you'll see the search tool or the little magnifying glass on the top right. Touch on it and then search for camera mode. And you can see at the very top right that you can turn this feature on, and whenever you double tap on the side button, well, your camera will open to whatever mode you had it set to previously before. And just so you know that this isn't some cheap phony camera trick, I'm going to go ahead and open up my camera app to slow motion. And from there, all I have to do is to double tap on my side button. You can see it just opened up in slow motion. I just dropped that one on you, huh? And speaking of dropped, how about if I show you how to drop and drag and reposition your camera icons? And everybody knows that there's a camera slider that you can select what mode you want, right? But did you know that you can take your camera icons and move them down to your slider? Well, if you didn't know, all you have to do is to touch, hold, and release. And now you can drag your camera mode icons and place them onto your camera slider. How about that? But seeing is believing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and touch and hold on my slow motion, and I'm going to pull it down to my camera slider. You can see how easy it is to just drop and drag it, right? And what's so cool is that you also have the power to reposition your camera modes on your camera slider anywhere you wish. Now, the key point here is that you'll also be able to move it back to where it originally came from, and all you have to do is hit save and you're done. Number 3, your selfie settings. Now I want you to pay attention. Look close. Do you see how I'm using my selfie camera right now? Well, there's something wrong with this picture. Don't you agree? And it's not because Han Solo is waving his lightsaber in the wrong direction. I'm talking about the words that are written on my baseball cap are backwards. Do you see that? Well, we're going to use the power of the Force to switch this up. Let me show you. Open up your camera app and go to the top left, and you see that cogwheel? Touch on it. That's your camera settings. From here, you're going to look for Save Selfies as Previewed. Now, you see mine is currently turned off, but I'm going to turn it on. So this way, any picture that I'm taking with my selfie camera will always be in the correct orientation. Now let's talk about a cool hidden feature, dual record mode. And this is going to allow you to record with 2 cameras at the same time. Touch more on your camera slider and you will see dual record mode. Touch on it. From there, this will open up 2 windows. And as you can see, I can slide and move them around as I please. And if you've been following along, you've noticed that little button at the very bottom. Well, if you touch on that, then you will now have the option to choose the 2 lenses of which you would like to actively record video. And guess what? There can be 2 separate video files saved on your device instead of 1. And just so I'm clear, do you see Kylo Ren on my screen? Well, you also see Kylo Ren in the image that I'm moving around all the way in the background. Both of them will be saved as 1 separate video file unless I tap that little button at the very top where I can now save them both as separate files. You got that? Let's move on to the next one, floating shutter. Now, what the heck is that? Well, I'm going to show you. Have you ever tried to take a selfie photo and your hands just can't figure out how to touch that shutter button and you just happen to drop your phone? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how to take that shutter button and put it on your screen so it's floating around at any position you want to, go to your settings and look for shooting methods. And from there, you'll see some really cool options. One of them is going to be floating shutter button. Now you see mine is currently turned off, but I can go ahead and turn it on right now. And so can you. And you see when I go back to my selfie camera that there is a shutter button floating on my screen, and I have the ability now to use the power of the force to move it to the left, or I can use the power of the force to move it to the right. See that? Basically anywhere you want to put it on your screen, so that way whenever you're taking a selfie, you can be able to access your shutter button easily without having to demolish your smartphone. Now let's move on to the next one, movie animations. And this is where I'm going to show you how you can create a GIF or an animated movie quick and easy. Now what I'm going to do is take 10 individual photos of these lightsaber warriors in motion. You see how I'm taking the photos right now, and every time I take a photo, I change the position of the characters. It's sort of similar or exactly the same as creating a stop motion movie, isn't it? But I am taking 10 individual photos right now, and they are being stored into my gallery. Now there's a reason for this, because what I'm going to do after I take these 10 photos is I'm going to go and pull up my gallery and show you how I just created a GIF or a stop motion animation. So speeding this up a little bit and putting it on fast forward, you can see that I am moving the characters. Now the important thing here is that each one of the characters have some sort of motion as you are taking these photos. Now it doesn't have to be just 10 photos. It can be an unlimited number based on the memory you have, but you see I'm going into my gallery and there are 3 dots on the top right. If I touch that, then a menu system will appear where I can now create something. And if I touch that, you'll see that I can either create a GIF, or I can create a collage or a movie. And at the very bottom, I can go into my studio. Very cool. So let's go ahead and select all of these 10 photos which have movement. And now I'm going to just go ahead and create a GIF. And guess what? I can play this GIF. Although it will be at a slow speed, you will see it sort of like a slideshow, and I will be able to just view. But the cool thing about this is that I can change the speed, and that's very easy for me to do, because at the very bottom, you will see that there's a little speed button right there where I'm pointing to right now. Touch on that, and that's going to allow you to change the speed of the GIF, so that way it will look like a stop motion animation. And look what happens when I hit the play button. Wow, they are all in motion. And imagine how this would look if I had over 100 photos instead of only just 10. And the cool thing about this is that you can save this as not only a GIF but also as a movie file too. Now let's talk about your Pro Video mode. This is something that's not really talked about too much, right? Well, I'm going to show you why this feature is so important. Go to your camera slider and access More, and from there you will see Pro Video mode, and there are just a variety of pro options and features that you have here. Let me go over it for you so you understand. Now if you go to your top left, you'll see that you have the ability to choose your resolution: HD, Full HD, UHD, or 4K at 30 frames or 60 frames per second, or 120 frames per second. And if you select 8K, your maximum will be 30 frames per second, or you can choose 24 frames per second. Now just below that, you have your aspect ratio. Now what is so cool is that you can be at 16:9, or you can choose 21:9 to give you that much wider look and feel on your videos. And of course, you're going to need a compatible monitor that's going to accommodate this type of resolution. Now go to the very bottom and touch your cogwheel there for camera settings. You will see that you have video stabilization, you have advanced video options, and you also have something here, tracking autofocus. You see mine is currently turned off, but you can go ahead and turn yours on, and anything that is moving around while you're taking videos, you'll be able to select it and track it, so that way it stays in focus. Now Pro Video mode also allows you to monitor your audio levels, and in a few seconds I'll show you exactly how you can make adjustments to your microphones as well. Now there's something that I want to show you in regard to how Pro Video mode actually focuses. Now you see I am filming this with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and normally what it will do is that it will change lenses and you will see the transition of the change, but it is staying out of focus because I have it currently locked, so it does not switch lenses. But you can see on my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra that I do not need to have anything locked. In Pro Video mode, it will maintain and adjust focus without switching lenses, and you can see that I can pull as close as I want and even read the writing on this small little micro screwdriver. Another important feature is your ability to adjust your ISO. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is how much light is actually coming into your camera. Now, for situations and conditions where there's not enough light or where there's too much light, you'll be able to have an adjustment here on your ISO. And this is so that you can have the best looking videos without it being too dark or looking like they're too washed out. Now, just above that is my shutter speed. And for those of you who know or don't already know, your shutter speed is determined by your frame rate. And do you remember when I said 4K at 30 frames per second? Well, your shutter speed is always double your frame rate, so that means that this should be set to 60. Now, choosing your focus area is easy because you have manual and you also have multi, and then at the bottom you have center. What this means is that if I select center, anything that I put in the center of my screen will automatically focus. If I select it on multi, then what that means that anywhere on my screen, it will be focusing. And if I went to manual, then I can manually adjust or pull focus onto any area of the screen which I want you to be able to pay attention to. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this Pro Video mode are your custom microphone options. And you can select rear, front, or omni, and there's so much more about this Galaxy S24 Ultra. You stay locked on this channel because I got some more Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra videos coming for you. Until then, what do we always say? Live, laugh, and learn, right? Peace! I'll see you guys on the next one.